Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about grid positioning. Now, in this example, we have an element here that's called the grid with the grid layout, and we have 9 blocks in it, and you can see that they're arranged in a grid. We talked about the grid layout before. In this case, we have 3 columns, and we talked about the spacing. We talked about the size of the children, which are basically the column span and row span. And now we're going to be talking about the positioning of children. So when you open up the, any grid element properties and expand your position section, you will see these additional fields that are not available to some of the other elements. So the order basically just it does the same thing as the flex layout. It just changes the order of elements. So let's say actually this was already 1. All of them are 0, so that's why setting this to 1 is not really going to make a difference. But if you were to make it negative, as you can see, it just goes before the other ones. And likewise, you can easily control the order. Like we set this one to 1. Now it's going to be 2. So you can see, and these are all 0. That's why they all come before it. So order works very similar to the flex layout. But there's also another one that works in a similar way, which is the start and start column and start row. So this literally determines the position of the child within the grid. So let's say, for example, we want to make this appear in the middle over here. So it's like second column, second row. So 2, 2, and there you go. So it's now appearing in here, and everything else is just flowing around it. And remember, you can use the size options here for column span and row span. So with this, you can actually determine a lot of different possibilities for the positioning of the elements in this way. One thing that's interesting, you can actually position multiple elements in the same position. They will get on top of each other. So sometimes that's people do this for design purposes. They can use it to blend them one another, or they might want to use z-index with some transparency. But that's usually an edge case. Typically, this is not used for that purpose. So lastly, we got the align self and justify self. So these are actually overrides, very much like the flex layout. So with the grid layout, we have these content and content distribution and items distribution. As you might remember from the other videos, we have this determines the overall distribution of the entire thing, these styles. And the items distribution is within the cell, how the item is going to be distributed. So if I click start, they all bunch up to the left, right, or bottom, top, bottom. So they can be, leaning towards certain sides and or centered within the cell. So the item distribution serves that purpose. Now, each child of the grid can also set align self and justify self. So this is going to be basically overriding whatever's the default is. So if I say, for example, align items top, normally everything is up top, but this one I can say bottom, so it will just change its alignment. And like the other ones, normally it's stretch to justify self. I can override it this way. So that way you can actually adjust the positioning within the cell. So these order, start column, start row, they determine the position of the element within the grid. And then within the cell, you can adjust the position of the element with align self and justify self. That's about it. Thank you very much for watching.